Hannity, so just in 1 week from today, 7 days, President-elect Trump will be sworn in to be the 45th president of the United States. And for the first time in 10 years, Republicans will control the House, the Senate, and the White House. Joining us now, counselor to the president-elect, Kellyanne Conway, is with us. You know, when I go out and meet people, the person they ask about besides President-elect Trump the most is you. Everyone wants to know, what's Kellyanne like? And I'm like, is she as nice as she seems? I said, nicer. So,
thank you.
The people are really happy.
Tell them I love them back, and this is a victory and a future shared by all, and we're just getting started.
The only thing to me that matters is that the agenda gets fulfilled. Walk us through these 100 days, what we call the first 100 days of the president-elect, and tell us what we can expect.
Yes. Sean, that is exactly why Donald Trump ran for president. I would submit to you it's why he won the presidency, because people know that he will make good on these promises, his plans. Because if he doesn't, it's just another typical politician promising to do things they don't intend. So he has these very specific plans on repealing and replacing Obamacare. A poll out just today shows that 65% of Americans want the ACA, Obamacare, repealed in part or in whole. It's a very high number. Folks feel really frustrated. We know their premiums are rising, their quality and choices are fewer, their access is less, and their frustrations are high. So making good on that repealing and replacing Obamacare is important. The president-elect and the vice president-elect had meetings on that this week. The legislative team had meetings on that this very week. This week, the Senate already took action toward repealing Obamacare. The president-elect is committed in so doing that those who have coverage will not be without coverage, that will get rid of that draconian penalty, basically that you're forced to buy government-run health care or pay a tax, pay a penalty. There will be health savings accounts for people, and there will be the ability to buy health insurance across state lines, a more patient-centric free market system. Also, he'll start building that wall with the intention of Mexico paying for it either now or later on as compensation. If the Congress can speed up the process by paying for it, terrific. You'll also see energy, unleashing energy. They'll start to do infrastructure. And he, of course, will get more serious about defeating radical Islamic terrorism and get very serious about rebuilding our military.
So vetting refugees, originalist justices, 7 brackets to 3, 15% corporate tax, repatriating multinational corporations, Obamacare gone, replaced with what you said, energy independence, that's going to be done.
Energy independence.
Education of the states.
Oh, yes. Education's huge. He's got Betsy DeVos as his education secretary nominee. Sean, she looks at alternatives to conventional schooling systems, or charters and school choice, and certainly respecting homeschoolers. At the same time, respecting our back to basics curriculum and letting parents and local governments have more of a say of where children go to school and what is taught there. You mentioned something very important. You talked about the extreme vetting, and you talked about energy investment. These are also very specific solution-centric plans that President-elect Trump ran on. I think that the fact that he got specific was very important to voters, because that's what businessmen do. They're accountable for results and deliverables. They can't fudge the numbers. They can't just have a commission and kick the can down the road. They actually have to produce in a quarterly, monthly, weekly way. If you can tell me right now, I'll start the Jeopardy clock, what Hillary Clinton's message was in this election, other than Donald Trump bad and I'm not Donald Trump. His message was specific.
I can't tell you that.
His message was specific.
Let me ask this last question. What you're saying is he's going to keep all these promises, which I think is the key to political success, but I also think it's the change that the country needs. This is not a simple agenda. I do believe there'll be resistance along the way, especially with the Supreme Court and building the wall and vetting refugees and some of these other issues. What will he be able to do in the first hours as president to undo a lot of the damage Obama's done with executive orders?
So on Monday, January 3rd, President Donald J. Trump can sit down and basically rescind these executive orders, those that Obama put in very late in the game with respect to the environment, mining. There are other regulations that we hear from business owners and employers constantly, Sean, that it's really the regulatory system that has a chokehold on them, that they can't retain talent and they can't hire American workers, they can't keep their factories here, they can't expand here. And you see the Trump effect already now during the transition. And the Trump effect happened again today here in Trump Tower, where the CEO of Lockheed Martin came, and then she went and announced that they will in fact reduce the price of the F-35s. The Trump effect has been to keep jobs here, factories staying here, and that when he sits down, he can actually rescind a number of these executive orders that have really hurt people. Remember, Barack Obama as president has been very fond of the executive order, and it's just the stroke of a pen, really, that allows President Trump to go more in line with what Americans expect. Energy is a key one. We hear from people, we've heard from these candidates right, left, and center. I'm for all of the above energy. What the heck does that mean? Great soundbite. But people say all the time, nothing is made in America anymore. And I will tell you that we have energy beneath our feet and off our shores. And Americans want us to develop that to reduce our dependence on foreign oil and also to stimulate our local economies, create jobs here at home. He's for coal, clean coal. He's for shale. He's for safe and effective hydraulic fracturing. It's just a very exciting time for us to rely more on Americans and American energy for our economic stimulation and growth.
Kellyanne, it's a bold agenda. If he follows up on all of these items that he talked about in the campaign and you're talking about now that he's been elected, that to me will shift the trajectory of the country. I'm going to love watching it. It'll be a fight. I'll be here fighting on TV and hopefully see you often, and I'll see you down in Washington next week.
You will see me often. And, Sean, it really is up to the Republican Congress as well.
That's true.
They're there. There's no more excuse of divided government.
Correct.
And they can do this. We've got the Republican governors, state legislatures. This is really the time to harness that and
And by the way, we don't
like
need their $10 trillion debt limit increase either. Thanks a lot. They can keep that.
No.
All right, Kellyanne, good to see you, and we'll see you at the inauguration 1 week from today. Up next, why are Democrats trying to undermine the president-elect before he even takes office? I'll ask Democratic Senator Joe Manchin. Republicans are already making moves now today and yesterday to repeal Obamacare. Later, I'll speak with Congresswoman. And welcome back to Hannity. So 1 week from today, Donald Trump will be sworn in as the 45th president of the United States. But many Democrats, they're still trying desperately to delegitimize Trump's big win in November. Now, this includes Clinton campaign spokesman Brian Fallon. He had this to say earlier today. Take a look.
Donald Trump is someone who's very insecure in his victory, and I understand why. Every day there are new developments, new shoes dropping, so to speak, that call into question the legitimacy of his win. First, it was with respect to Russian interference, and now with respect to the FBI, we see that Jim Comey's actions are sufficiently questionable that the internal watchdog at DOJ thinks that they merit an independent review.
All right, Fallon is not the only Democrat trying to make excuses for President-elect Trump's win. Now, we have a handful of congressional Democrats that are now boycotting the inauguration. That includes California Congresswoman Barbara Lee. She released a statement that reads, in part, Donald Trump has proven that his administration will normalize the most extreme fringes of the Republican Party. On Inauguration Day, I will not be celebrating. I will be organizing and preparing for resistance. Also today, in a pre-recorded interview set to air on Meet the Press this weekend, Congressman John Lewis of Georgia says he doesn't see Donald Trump as a legitimate president. So why are some Democrats trying so hard to smear the presidency of Donald Trump? He hasn't even taken office. Joining us now, a Democrat, a senator from the great state of West Virginia, Joe Manchin, is with us. Senator Manchin, thanks for being with us. Let me start with what you have done.
Hey, Sean, always good to be with you.
You've had conversations with Donald Trump, correct?
Yes, I have.
And how have they gone?
And they've gone great. It's refreshing. He's reached out, which is what you would think. A president-elect coming in, reaching across the aisle, wanting to get things done, seeing if we can find people that will work together, move things forward, put the country first, put the campaign behind us, put the election behind us, put the Democrats and Republicans behind us, and let's bring America to the forefront. I really believe that's what he's trying to do. Well, he's reached out to me. We've had good conversations.
We still have 95 million Americans out of the labor force, 43 million Americans on food stamps, 50 million in poverty, and the lowest home ownership rate in 51 years. Those are real problems. I assume, especially because you're from West Virginia, on energy, that you want to see these regulations, executive orders go away. You want coal mining, you want fracking, I assume. You want drilling, you want energy independence. Is that a good guess?
Yes, and I've spoke to President-elect Trump about that. You know, we want a balance between the economy and the environment. We don't want dirty water. We don't want dirty air. He doesn't want dirty water. He doesn't want dirty air. What we've looked at, and I told him, I think that the things that West Virginians are upset about is that with the laws that we have to protect our environment, they have doubled down and put extra laws. Basically, it's a redundancy, a nuisance type of thing that just basically just breaks the will of people to want to be in business.
Yeah.
That's not what an energy policy should be.
Senator, you're an anomaly. I just read what Hillary Clinton's spokesperson said. I just told you what Barbara Lee is doing. I've known John Lewis from my time broadcasting in Atlanta. I like him a lot, respect him a lot. I think what he's doing is harmful. So my question is, what are the things that you see you agree on? Would you agree that the promises, for example, of Obamacare were never kept to keep our doctors' plans and save money? Cost per family has gone up $5,400 in 8 years.
Well, there is problems, and I've said that, and I'm willing to repair the problem. Sean, where I differ, I've said I'm willing to work and sit down and work through in a professional manner, in a grown-up manner, to basically find the fixes that we need. I'm not voting for repealing it until I see a replacement and we can repair it. I think that's a reasonable approach.
As far as I know, up till now, you are the only Senate Democrat that will vote to confirm Senator Sessions, a colleague, as the new Attorney General. I see this every 4 years, and it's my biggest complaint. Your party, the Democratic Party, every 4 years without fail, and I've chronicled it on this program, will play the race card. It was played against Senator Sessions, in spite of what I think is a pretty incredible record on his part. When you see that happen, how do you feel about your party?
When I see politics dive to that degree, and you know, and like you say, whether it's on my side of the aisle, the Democrat side of the aisle, and Sean, let me make it very clear. I'm a West Virginia Democrat. We're a little bit different than what you would look at the national Democrats, and I think maybe our West Virginia Republican friends are too. Don't get caught up in all this hullabaloo. But the bottom line is that Jeff Sessions is someone I've known for 6 years. If